So I was just going about my day, mind my own business, doom scrolling Twitter before trying to go to sleep, normal hood rat shit with my friends. And I just happened to notice something. It wasn't the first time I noticed it, but it really just struck me what was actually going on for the first time. And it came from my boy United Trey. Not really my boy. Don't think we've ever really interacted, right? But he's just one of those guys that just exists on football Twitter. He's responsible for me seeing that Luis Suarez perfect placement in the top corner goal type stuff all the time, right? And he just posts memes and whatever. I mean, cool. You're Twitter famous. You're Twitter famous. Get it. Get the bag. Get that $20 of Elon Musk ad revenue. You know what I'm saying? But he tweeted this: Chelsea, anytime they remember how much they paid for Enzo Fernandez. And it's literally just a meme. A meme from Family Guy. You've probably seen it before. It's an unshaven Peter Griffin. And then all the way in the bottom right corner is the word steak. You might have seen this. It's probably happening not just on Twitter anymore. It's probably happening on multiple platforms now because this seems to be Steak's new advertising plan here. And if you really zoom in, and I need to physically zoom in here because I can't read it from here. It says either gamble responsibly or gamble disproportionately. It's one of those two. And then it says hashtag ad. Kind of hard to tell because it's about 5 pixels all the way down there. But this is technically a sponsored post by United Trey, which I couldn't help myself. I just instantly responded, did you just put a steak ad on a picture from Family Guy? Because I was basically just saying exactly what I was seeing. Now, this has been going on for a little bit, and if you go to any of these guys' accounts, you will notice that they have steak in their bio. And if you don't know what it is, it's one of the world's leading betting platforms. It is a betting company, basically. It is a betting company that, if I'm not mistaken, is behind Kick, the notorious streaming platform. Right, that seems to collect all the deplorable people you could possibly find and put them in one place for the FBI to collect very easily, which is really convenient the more that you think about it. But it is just a gambling ad on a Family Guy post. That's basically what we're looking at. And it blew my mind. And there are some highbrowed reasons that this is unbelievably stupid. But we'll start with the incredibly obvious. This is cringe as fuck. This is just torturously cringe to the point that every time I see a tweet with a steak ad at it, like on it, I just scroll right by it because you're not valuing my time, right? If you're putting a steak ad all over every random thing, and I mean every random thing you are tweeting. Here we have a steak ad on Marcus Rashford's boob. Good luck reading the gamble responsibly hashtag ad shit underneath it, by the way. No shot. Here we've got Zinedine Zidane smiling, I'm assuming, at the steak ad that he seems to be looking at. Here we have Phil Foden walking away menacingly next to a steak ad. Here we have literally a picture of who I presume is United Trey with a steak ad. And this is probably the best post that he has because this is the only piece of content that he actually owns that he's managed to shove an advertisement onto. So shout out to him for that. This one is definitely the most legal one that he's been able to put out there. Here is a wall of tweets onto which he has stapled a steak ad. This is literally just a screenshot of tweets with a steak ad on it. And here we have Pep Guardiola reacting in the appropriate manner to what I assume is a steak ad in the bottom corner. I don't have to assume because it's there. What I can't, still gamble responsibly. It's still there. And Trey is not the only person doing this. Janty, who's another one of the exact same ilk, these people that are able to monopolize attention and have the inside road in the algorithm, right? And they're able to, stay on people's feeds and they tweet about 1 billion times a day, right? He's doing the steak ads as well. Here he has tweeted out his England best starting lineup with a steak ad in the bottom corner. Here he's tweeted out, like Israel's playing schedule with a steak ad because nothing screams, let me put a gambling ad in, like discussing the Israel-Palestine situation. Then you have the exact same Phil Foden picture, which I'm assuming he copied and pasted from... is it the same tweet? Did they tweet the same thing? They might have. What's happened to Phil Foden? Who went first? Janty went first, so Trey was copying him. Got it. Only an hour apart. They both decided to discuss Phil Foden. That's wild. Trey hit that Control C, Control V shit on the timeline. That's what I'm talking about, right? It's always helpful when you can copy stuff. I mean, here's Aiden Ross's kick stream with a steak ad on it, right? This is insane. This is insane. And I can help you put a finger on exactly why this is so weird. Outside of the fact that it is just really not considerate of the viewer at all, which sounds like soft and, whatever. But your entire job, if you are somebody that is famous on Twitter, is being somebody fun to engage with. I really don't like doing advertisements on Twitter because Twitter is a very snap engagement type place. Now, obviously, it's also not a place for highbrow discussion. It's a place for jokes and memes and maybe like the odd moment of introspection when you're looking at an old highlight or they post Jose Mourinho on his knees looking off into the distance again. But there's another reason that there's like a seriously unsettling feeling when you're looking at this stuff, beyond the fact that it is just incredibly lame, like loser behavior and just cringe, trying to monetize the actual image that you're looking at and slapping a steak logo onto a bunch of images that you just don't own. Because that's another contributing factor to why this feels so weird. Janty's given me an excellent example from 17 hours ago, which, yes, I have not managed to get 24 hours back in terms of how long I have scrolled here. I don't really know how these people have any lives at all with the amount that they tweet. But this is a 33-second video. You'll notice it has a Soccer AM logo in the bottom left corner and a steak ad in the bottom right corner. One of those logos was there when Janty found the video. The other one was put there by Janty or somebody else that's doing this that then Janty kind of copied it over like Trey did with this exact same Phil Foden picture, right? Somebody owns this. If I played this entire clip on YouTube, it is entirely possible, in spite of the steak ad, right, that this video would get demonetized or, as often happens, just blocked. Nobody would be able to watch it because the copyright owner of this particular piece of content is protecting their copyright. And I don't really have an issue with copyright law. If you produce something, you should have the rights over it, right? It's the same as if, somebody took images from this YouTube video and just started putting steak ads on them. That would be something that I would have a problem with because I personally don't do gambling ads. Look, if you want to gamble your money, that's perfectly fine, right? I am not your mom. I'm not your dad. I'm not anything else in between. I'm not your dominatrix, whatever floats your boat, dude. I'm not going to be there for you. I'm only going to be there for you here in a hoodie at 2 a.m. making fun of these weird ads on Twitter. So let's get back to that. But I don't do the gambling ads because a lot of people have problems with gambling addictions. A lot of people lose a lot of money, and I just didn't want to be a part of that particular problem. So I always turn down every gambling ad, right? But I'm not going to attempt to force the rest of the world to adhere to my, kind of off-the-cuff moral decision on that point. It is not overly reprehensible to do a gambling ad. I would just be a little upset if all of a sudden it became associated with my brand because you just stapled a steak ad right across my incredibly voluptuous forehead. That would be a little offensive. I, on the other hand, though, don't have a massive legal team. I still feel like I'd be able to pull off getting them to take it down, but people that are running stuff like Soccer AM do have a massive legal team. So just outside, like if we're gonna go highbrow for a second here, departing from the fact that it is cringe loser behavior to do this, it just ruins the entire point of whatever sort of video you're trying to have. Like this video is supposed to be funny, and it is. It's a Chelsea fan brushing his teeth behind a couple of subs, but the first thing you notice, once you notice, it's the steak ad, and you can't unnotice it, right? This is a picture of Kaká, but of course your eye is drawn to the fucking steak ad in the bottom corner. This is a, dick-sucking post about Cristiano Ronaldo, did we make it, right? It's just some incredibly parasocial behavior, obviously, but look, people have been doing that for Messi and Ronaldo for 20 years. Who am I to get in the way of the dick and the sucky, right? Steak ad in the bottom corner. Like if you're going to honor your hero, at least don't staple a steak ad to his left thigh. You know what I mean? Because then I'm going to be paying attention to that instead of, his excellently performed plastic surgery that I am speculating on entirely and I have no inside knowledge on. I'm just guessing. That, or he has a really good eyebrow guy or girl, whoever does eyebrows. I don't know. I clearly wouldn't know. But my God, this is like a really old meme, and you just put a steak ad on it. It's so weird. You've got this young, like this young impressionable audience, and you're pushing that out to them. It's weird. Every part of this is just cringe, man. But yeah, it's definitely illegal. It's definitely turbo, unbelievably illegal. I mean, this is like a TikTok from somebody called Hot Capybara, and you've just put a steak ad in the bottom corner of it. They totally own this. Soccer AM totally owns that video. And people are starting to call this out. Like, they're not only just cooking this, like this has a ton of likes when the tweet funny, but there's a steak ad on it. That, you know, they're starting to call it out all over the place. But then you have situations like, sorry, this was so funny. Before I get to what I was going to talk about, Arsenal scored while he was putting the steak logo on his picture. Absolutely cooked. 21,000 likes on that. That's some serious chefery. Arsenal scores the goal before this guy's able to get the tweet out with the steak ad on it. Bro, we're putting steak ads on like freaking the box score. Honestly, that's probably the place where it would make the most sense. Box score brought to you by... No, but really, the situation was Fabrizio Romano. And his response actually got the entire account that he was responding to nuked, so I can't show you the original tweet. But it basically was questioning Fabrizio Romano's sources, posting a clip from his podcast from a podcast that he went on with a steak ad in the bottom corner. So he says, literally mention the source, blah, blah, blah. I was right. Then meanwhile, I see you're adding a sponsor on the bottom right of the image you used with my face in my interview with Rising Ballers. Did you ask for permission? Or you tried to attack me and generate impressions for your own ad? Not even mentioning it was an ad and not asking for permission. Wink. That's the wink of somebody that knows they have the firepower to be able to get your tweet taken down immediately. Or let's say your entire account gets completely nuked. Yeah, this is an entirely fair question, right? Because there's something like fair use on the internet, but once you start remonetizing content for your own gain, that's when the copyright shit kicks in, right? You can't just take something that is somebody else's and then use it to make money for yourself. You know what I mean? That is why copyright laws exist. That's the whole point, right? If you are coming up with an original piece of content, like this Zealandism video, then I can start shilling whatever I want. You know, we can talk about like whatever mobile game wants to sponsor this particular video, but I'm creating this content, at 2 a.m. Damn right. That's that Sigma Alpha grind set shit we're talking about here. But no, this is illegal. And then you have other people pointing stake watermarks to profit on designs I spend time making. These accounts are so beggy. This guy's obviously just trying to clown on these accounts that have stolen his designs and tweeted them out. And by the way, Janty and United Trey, if you ever actually go through football Twitter, which of course I do because it's one of the main places that you're able to find interesting stories, and there are a lot of great people to follow in order to find those kinds of interesting stories, there are 300 accounts trying to be United Trey and Janty that are also doing this. They're just not worth mentioning. They usually suck a little more. They usually copy tweets a little bit more. And those are the accounts that he's kind of highlighting here. These accounts that take these really slick and well-produced images, add a stake logo to them, and remonetize them. This guy, if he owns the rights to those, definitely would be entitled to the profits from that advertisement and would have the opportunity to legally go after them, or at the very least try to invoke I forgot what it's called. The terms of service on Twitter, assuming that Elon hasn't nuked those in his eternal quest to be the biggest piece of shit anybody's ever seen. As long as those still exist, then, you would be able to go into a normal looking terms of service and say, hey, I made this content. Here's the proof I made this content. They need to take this down, or I need to get the revenue from this post. But obviously the revenue for stake isn't being passed through Twitter itself, and so you probably just go for a takedown and a message that, if they do it again, then so on and so forth. But yeah, this is cringe and wildly illegal and just weird behavior. And it's crazy because it just seems to be getting more and more common, and I think it just means that the internet is cooked. I've fallen in love with the word cooked lately, but it feels like the internet is cooked. At the very least, Twitter is cooked. I mean, Twitter's been cooked for a little while, but it's getting more cooked. Just gives me the heebie-jeebies, dude.